In Osaka, Japan, a pink van was heading to a certain area. Inside the van was a female assassin and sharpshooter named Kate, accompanied by her mentor, Varric. They were on a mission to eliminate 2 Yakuza leaders. For the past 12 years as an assassin, Kate never experienced mission failures. This time, she was confident she would easily kill her targets. Before the action, Varric gave her a bottle of her favorite lemon drink. Once the van arrived at the location, Kate quickly got out and was immediately confronted by 2 Yakuza henchmen. She tricked them by pretending to be lost. When one of the men tried to show her the way, Kate quickly threw her drink bottle and eliminated them. Then she climbed to a high place to find a shooting spot. Kate, who had seen one of her targets get out of a luxury car, was ready to wait for her operator's command to execute. Unexpectedly, the target was with his daughter named Ani. Although known as a no-nonsense assassin, Kate had a personal protocol not to kill in front of children. But due to her operator's insistence, Kate was forced to comply. In the end, she broke her own protocol not to kill in front of children. Meanwhile, from the car next to her, another target appeared. The old man named Kojima was the highest leader of the Yakuza and the brother of the man Kate had just killed. Feeling his life was also threatened, Kojima fled, leaving his niece Ani at the scene. Kate, seeing Ani crying hysterically alone in front of her father's body, regretted her actions and chose to postpone her mission this time. The story then fast-forwards 10 months. Kate, who was jogging at night in Tokyo, accidentally saw a family living happily. From there, she thought about retiring and leaving her dirty job. She then discussed her decision with Varric, giving the reason that she wanted to have a normal life like people outside. However, Varric suspected that the incident in Osaka 10 months ago was the main reason Kate wanted to retire. Varric also said no one knew there were children there at the time. Kate revealed that she indeed could not forget the incident in Osaka, but to maintain professionalism, she promised Varric she would complete her mission before retiring. Kate began learning to live a normal life like other women. One night she was relaxing while drinking a bottle of wine at a hotel bar where she was staying. There, a man named Stephen tried to flirt with Kate, and they eventually got acquainted. The acquaintance led to an intimate relationship. When Stephen in the bathroom, Kate saw Stephen's ID card and tried to remember his address in Shibuya. Soon after, Kate received a message to complete her last mission, to kill Kojima at 11 p.m. at Roppongi Tower. When saying goodbye to Stephen, the wine bottle Kate had previously finished in the hotel room was visible. She arrived on time at the location and prepared with her sniper rifle. When her main target appeared, Kate suddenly experienced vertigo, causing her shot to miss and only wound Kojima. Even though there was no chance to shoot because Kojima had already entered his car and escaped, Kate still forced herself to try again. As a result, Kate failed to complete her last mission, and Kojima escaped. Kate then left the building as the dizziness in her head became heavier. While Kojima's henchmen were scouring the place to find the shooter, Kate managed to escape using a stolen car. Inside the car, her headache intensified due to the lights and audio system installed in the car. As she sped up, Kate lost consciousness, resulting in a car accident, and the police came to her aid. Then a flashback tells the story of Kate, an orphaned girl since childhood. Varric found her and raised her to become an assassin, eventually recruiting her into an agency specializing in dirty work as a hitman. After waking up from her faint, Kate was already in the hospital. The doctor treating her diagnosed that Kate's body had been poisoned with radiation caused by a dangerous chemical element named polonium-204. If polonium touches our skin or is ingested, it will quickly damage the skin and even internal organs. The doctor pronounced that she had less than a day left to live. Kate realized that the person who poisoned her was none other than the man she had just met at the hotel, Stephen. Stephen had put the polonium into the wine that Kate drank. Because Kate still remembered Stephen's address, she intended to confront Stephen for revenge. She sneaked out of the hospital room and stole a police officer's gun. Kate then threatened the doctor to hand over stimulant serum that could help her withstand the effects of the poison in her body. After obtaining 5 stimulants, Kate immediately went to meet Stephen in a stolen car. Upon arrival, Kate pointed her gun at Stephen and asked why he poisoned her. Terrified, Stephen replied that the person who instructed him said it was just a sedative. He didn't know it was poison. Stephen then mentioned that the person who instructed him was a Yakuza club manager named Sato, who was also a subordinate of Kate's last target, Mr. Kijima. Stephen's wife also spoke up, saying that she and her husband had been controlled for years by Sato, and if they both succeeded in doing what they were instructed this time, then Stephen and his wife would be released by Sato. Since it was not Stephen's fault, Kate forgave him. When Kate changed into the clothes provided by Stephen's wife, it was evident that the poison had spread and started damaging her skin. Kate then returned to the headquarters to report the incident to Varric. She inquired about her current target, Kijima. Varric said that Kijima was currently the highest leader of the Yakuza. It was possible that Kijima held a grudge over the death of his brother in Osaka, but how he knows that the killer was Kate. Kate, who was now looking for the person who poisoned her. Kate asked if Varric had ever heard the name Sato. Varric only had information that Sato often gathered with his subordinates at a place called Black Lizard. Kate immediately went there. Before that, Kate stopped by a store to buy a flashlight and a dish sponge to use as a silencer for her gun. Once at Black Lizard, Kate didn't waste any time and immediately shot a Yakuza member. She asked a man named Sato why he poisoned her. Sato confessed and said he was just following orders. Kate immediately suspected that Kijima was behind it and asked where Kijima was at the moment. But since Sato couldn't answer, Kate shot him. Sato's henchmen entered the room and surrounded her. Kate threatened to kill their boss. After the Yakuza boss said he didn't know where Kijima was, Kate tried to execute him, but unfortunately, her gun ran out of bullets, resulting in a scuffle. Kate successfully eliminated them one by one in the ensuing chaos. In the fight, Kate managed to cut off the finger of one of the Yakuza, and her hair was also cut. After single-handedly wreaking havoc in the Yakuza den, only one Yakuza remained alive. From him, Kate learned that Kijima's niece, Ani, would surely know Kijima's whereabouts. He also informed her of Ani's current location, which was at an indoor concert. Kate hurried there and saw the girl she had seen in Osaka. Instantly, Kate suspected that she was Ani, the girl whose father died at Kate's hands. Kate quickly took out Ani's bodyguards and then took Ani to an alley. Kate asked Ani to call Kijima, but Ani didn't have his number. Ani then said if looking for Kijima, Kate could contact his main advisor named Renji. While calling Renji, Kate snatched the phone and said that she had kidnapped Ani. Kate asked Renji to meet her at Murakawa Market in an hour. After that, she took Ani to the restroom and tied her up there. Meanwhile, a man named Renji sent his subordinate named Shinzo to free Ani. Shinzo immediately went to meet Kate at the designated place. They faced each other, and Kate asked where Kijima was. Then Shinzo and Kate drew their guns, but Kate was quicker to shoot. Chaos erupted in Murakawa Market, and other Yakuza began targeting her. Kate tried to escape while shooting the Yakuza one by one. In the restroom, Ani struggled to free herself from the tape binding her. After freeing herself, she came out of the restroom and met Shinzo. But instead of being happy to see Ani safe, Shinzo and the others intended to shoot her. Shinzo said that he and his members were fed up with Ani. Fortunately, Kate arrived and shot Shinzo and the others. Hearing the police sirens, Kate quickly left the place. Ani continued to follow her. Kate told her to go away, but Ani didn't know where to go because her own family wanted to kill her. Ani had no one else and reminded Kate of her past as an orphan. Kate eventually took Ani with her. After a tiring shootout, Kate went to a vending machine to look for lemon drink, but she couldn't find it. Ani bought her clothes because Kate's shirt was splattered with blood. Ani gave her information about Renji's whereabouts, who had connections with Kijima. She said that Renji had taken over the duties of her father, who was shot dead in Osaka. Ani still didn't know that the person who killed her father was Kate. Because it was difficult to track Renji's whereabouts, Ani then took Kate to the top of a tower to meet Renji's lover named Jojima. They collaborated with Ani distracting the security so Kate could sneak in easily. After entering to meet Jojima, Ani said that someone wanted to meet him. Kate appeared and pointed a gun at Jojima, asking where Renji was. When Kate was distracted, Jojima tried to snatch the gun, and it fell. Kate and Jojima fought, while Ani was busy figuring out how to use the weapon. Unfortunately, the shot Ani fired hit Kate, and Jojima grabbed the gun to finish Kate. However, Ani quickly struck Jojima's head with a hammer, killing him. The blood splatter from Jojima reminded Annie of her trauma when her father was killed in Osaka. Kate and Annie had to search for clues on their own to track down Renji. Kate found weapons stored behind a refrigerator door, while Annie successfully tracked Renji's current location through Jojima's phone. They followed the route Renji would take. When Renji's car passed by, Annie attempted to intercept it by pretending to shoot with an empty hand, while Kate was actually targeting Renji's men from behind. Kate asked Renji about Kijima's whereabouts. Renji only knew that Kijima was currently at a place often referred to as the family home. Annie knew the place mentioned, and Renji was knocked out by Kate. The two headed to Kijima's location. Kate called Varric to inform him that she had found Kijima's location and asked Varric to come and collect her body as she only had a few hours left to live. Kate and Annie took a taxi. Upon arrival, Kate told Annie to leave and forget all the events she experienced that day. Annie could still lead a normal life like other children her age, something Kate never experienced when she was Annie's age. After they parted ways, Kate felt dizzy and had to inject her stimulant. Kate finally met with Kijima, who said that Kate was just being used by someone. Even though Kate confessed to killing his brother in Osaka, Kijima never sought revenge against Kate. It all happened because of an internal power struggle within the Yakuza family. Kijima couldn't blame himself for not being able to prevent actions caused by the jealousy of one of his family members, Renji. Kijima also felt guilty for neglecting Annie. In their conversation, it was revealed that Renji, obsessed with taking over the Yakuza, sought help from a Westerner, Varric, and Varric used Kate as a tool so Renji could achieve his goal. Varric had now arrived at the location and met with Annie, who was still there. He then revealed to Annie that the killer of her father in Osaka was Kate. Knowing he would lose Kate, Varric intended to use Annie as a replacement tool. Kate quickly ran outside to meet Annie, but Annie, who had been waiting for her, immediately vented her emotions. She then shot Kate in the shoulder as she tried to calm her down. In an emotionally unstable state, Annie then got into Varric's car to go with him. Kate regained consciousness. Mr. Kijima found her and gave her the stimulant she had dropped. When Annie arrived at Varric's place, she met Renji there. Varric blamed Renji for poisoning Kate without his permission. Renji welcomed Varric to the Yakuza, explaining that after Annie's father's death, Renji was under surveillance, so he panicked and feared his efforts would be uncovered. Elsewhere, Kate and Kijima were on their way to Varric's headquarters. Kijima was seen storing a lemon drink. Kate wanted to ask for it but felt shy. Kijima, noticing this, handed the drink to Kate. Upon arriving at Varric's headquarters, it turned out they did not go alone. Kijima had brought his henchmen and they ransacked Varric's place. They continued to search for Varric, Renji, and Annie. Meanwhile, Varric, realizing Kate's presence, instructed Renji to take care of his own family matters. Eventually, Kijima confronted Renji. Kijima, aware of Renji's betrayal in his quest to become the Yakuza leader, challenged him to a duel with katanas. Renji claimed that Kijima was too old to lead and that it was time for him to take over. The duel was brief and Kijima successfully decapitated Renji. Kate was still searching for Annie while eliminating Varric's troops. She was shot in the leg, but managed to rise and defeat her opponents. She smiled, finally finding Annie held captive by Varric. Varric revealed that Kate was an essential part of the system he had created and controlled, making Kate feel as if her life was not her own. They then exchanged rapid gunfire. Both were hit in the abdomen, but Kate's shot was more lethal, killing Varric first. As she lay dying, Annie helped Kate walk out. Kate apologized to Annie for the events in Osaka, and Annie forgave her, acknowledging that it was not Kate's fault. In the end, Kate found peace with herself before passing away in front of cat animation, symbolizing good fortune, which also referred to her nickname, Cat. And the film ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.